glimpse of the teaser for Godzilla Minus One, my mind was utterly spellbound. I still have yet to acquire all the other Godzilla movies, and the only one I've watched, which is considered an older movie, is Shin Godzilla. This excluding my viewing of the MonsterVerse movies. Shin Godzilla was a really riveting and exceptionally well-crafted film. I absolutely loved it. It really felt like a horror film as well. I think it did a good job of conveying the immense scale of Godzilla and the terror that was being experienced by the people running about. And honestly, despite this Godzilla not constantly being on the screen, the film did an expert job emphasizing the threat that he posed at every moment you were watching. So his presence was very much palpable throughout the entire film. I also enjoyed how he was personified. We felt a sense of empathy for him. Shin Godzilla, unfortunately, was just a product of his circumstances. He was just trying to survive. So whenever he was attacked, it was honestly him just defending himself, and there was no personal angle against it. He was just like, dude, you're hurting me. I don't know what's happening. I have to fight. On the other hand, the teaser for this new film seems to depict Godzilla in a way that shows you that he's not here to mess around or just walk from point A to point B. I mean, he honestly seems provoked in the teaser. I know it's just a short section that we've seen, but it's almost as though someone messed with his family and he walked up on land to show them why that was a very bad idea. Just look at this face, bro. The anger. He doesn't look like an animal that's just there and his brain is halfway across the sea where he left piece of it. You could see the intelligence and the predatory nature in his visage alone. Just looking at him, he does seem to have some elements from the Millennium Godzilla, but yet also, especially in the jowls, some elements from the Heisei era Godzilla. And I've only seen snippets of all of these movies. I intend to watch them all if I can get them somehow. It's ridiculously hard to obtain them, especially with the English subs. But what he really put me in mind of is this version. The version I like that actually looks like a cross between a lion and a dragon. Honestly, it seems a bit like they've combined several of the elements from the different iterations of Godzilla into this one, while also managing to portray the film in the same light or stylistic choice as Shin Godzilla. That's just what I get from this, which makes me really interested, especially considering the shots are in the daytime. Look at this, it looks so real. The CGI is done so well. This actually looks like a real animal. Like, I believe, I mean, if I were stupid or if I was like a kid, I would actually believe that this was a real creature. Look how realistic that looks. He did a crazy good job with this. I don't know if this is puppeteering or animatronics or what's going on here. It almost looks too real to be CGI, or at least just CGI alone. So looking at all the destruction that is caused by this Godzilla, I mean, just looking at it, it seems like scorched earth. This movie is clearly set in post-war Japan after the ravages of World War II, and in an interview, Toho hinted that Godzilla basically causes Japan to go in a state of deficit or minus, and this is post-war because they were already ravaged by war, so then they have Godzilla on top of this. I mean, we're looking at people's clothes. Just look at what people are wearing. It obviously isn't set in modern times. And maybe that's also why you have that strange sepia aura going on, because this is more of a historic angle, which is quite interesting. And it would make sense because it would be a little bit weird seeing Godzilla set in the future like we have with the MonsterVerse, the American setting where it's modern, everyone has phones and devices. I'm sure they had devices back then too, but you know what I mean? That wasn't an integral part of society. So people were just normal people trying to go about their lives, and then something like this happens where you don't have as much at your disposal to be able to protect yourself or to stay in touch with people. So that would make this really interesting angle, like they're already dealing with all of that from the war, and then on top of that you have this thing happening. Imagine losing so much, your family, your house, your business, everything, and then to have a big-ass two-legged crocodile thing come up on land and start chomping down on everyone. That is some sickness. Like, that would be horrible. I am so interested to see how they're going to do this, at what angle they're going to come from with the story. If they're going to focus from like a few characters or just one protagonist and then Godzilla himself. Like, I imagine they're gonna go for the horror angle with this. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Now, I actually made a POV story about this. I know a lot of people are probably wondering what happened to my POVs. They're unlisted, but they're also on my other Logicolic channel that I haven't uploaded anything on in a while, but I will link the playlist here so you can get all the POVs here. I did do one of Shin Godzilla, or at least my rendition of what would have happened at the end of the Shin Godzilla movie, because it inspired me so much. So if you want to get an audio, like creepypasta sort of situation from that, and you don't mind my cringe, feel free to check that out. Anyways, what do you guys think about this teaser? Are you excited? I mean, this looks really, really good. If anything, the design is what sold me on this. And the fact that it's Godzilla, of course. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.